talking about how to fix a global problem, one single policy is not like, this is like arguing like you're fighting a war and it's like, can you show me the one single gun that will defeat the enemy? Like, it's nonsensical. No.
However,
this
Norway,
seems,
which is on the downward trend.
Well, Andrew, calm down.
Norway's on the downward trend too.
This seems to be
just
to be
all
pretty
lies.
effective. So if you Google like
you're jumping into the middle of a heavyweight bout, debate style. Andrew Wilson of the Crucible versus Vaush. These are two of the best in the debate bro world. And you're going to see fireworks and also very good discussion. This is a unique debate where you get ad hominem, a really good topic, and really good points made on both sides. Let's get into it. Andrew Wilson versus Vaush, Crucible versus Vaush. They've done a lot of shows, but it hasn't been like this one. Wait till you see how they end it.
Maternal leave effect on fertility rates. From what I say, just literally scrolling through, there are dozens of articles. It seems like a really clear-cut answer. Of course, no one thing can fix everything. You have to try multiple things. And oftentimes these programs end up getting defunded too.
So they're talking about fertility rates, just so you can understand the topic here. Globally, we're seeing that the global population is still rising, basically because of Africa and India. But in all of the West, birth rates are declining below the rate of replacement. Vaush's idea is big government, big spending. And Andrew Wilson's idea, I listened to it so I can break that down for you. In this clip, you're only going to hear Vaush. Andrew Wilson is Christian nationalist, and he's going with a more cultural approach. I will break that down for you. Let's get back to it. Andrew Wilson versus Vaush.
For example, a whole bunch of the like paternity leave and like subsidy programs and a bunch of like healthcare stuff in like the UK and Sweden and other countries has been defunded from right-wing governments. So even if there is a short-term benefit, it kind of gets cut out in the long term by the fact that there are people like Andrew who will gut those policies. I think that if you care about preserving birth rates and making things better, like it's literally like you Google the study, this improves the thing. So like, yeah, you know, it's a pretty simple policy. I don't know why Andrew wants to keep mothers away from their children, but you know,
what's the most interesting here is that this country that is cited, Norway, is on the decline in its birth rates. There is no reversal. He's lying to you again. What he's trying to do is he's trying to say that there are some policies which can mitigate the decline, which was already conceded to 15 times. He has not given us even a collection. And I said this word, the word collection of policies even, which would actually have a reversal effect, because all he can come up with is materialists throw fucking money at it. But every place that we've thrown money at it, there is no fucking reversal. They're still on the downward trend. The data shows this overwhelmingly. What he's doing is a red herring, typical red herring, and he filibustered for like 5 minutes to read this and still never actually showed us a reversal. Look at Norway's stats for yourself. They're on the downward trend. Are they not, Vaush?
Huh?
Is Norway's birth rates not on the downward trend? The example you just used.
The study said that it was improved because of the policy.
And their birth rates?
Wait, can I actually answer his question?
It's unbelievable.
So you do realize policies can be defunded and other things can.
So here's my take on this. If you're just trying to figure out where are we at, they're arguing something that neither one of them can prove. So that's why it falls apart. Vaush is saying that his socialist, you could say, I don't even know if it would be communist, but his government distribution. Vaush is saying the government should pay for long parental leave. The government should pay to balance work life for employees, and that will encourage birth rates to go up. In Norway, for example, they have generous parental leave, subsidized health, childcare, and the father has a quota that they can take off as well to support families. Some companies in America have a similar type of policy. Andrew Wilson saying that's a lot of money. That's government funded. So it's really a lot of money. We're talking about almost a year off in some cases for the mother, a ton of weeks, and then even a lot for the father as well, government paid. So Vaush is saying if you throw money at it, we can fix it. I'll tell you, Andrew, I'm going to let this go. Then I'm going to tell you Andrew Wilson's take on it, and I'll tell you who I side with.
can change, right? Like this is again like saying like, oh man, dude, my health really improved when I took those antibiotics, but now my health has gone down and it's been like a month. What's happened? And it's like, whoa, you only took antibiotics twice and you haven't taken them at all for the past.
So has the policy been removed?
So, well, in a lot of cases, it has been defunded.
Well, in Norway,
over that.
Has it in Norway?
I don't know about Norway specifically.
Well, then why would you use this as an example for your example? Stupid?
Because you don't seem to understand. I know you don't actually
make up arguments.
I know you don't actually.
Wait, hang on, stop. Vaush,
well, wait, can I get a closer?
Of course, you guys will both get closing statements. Vaush, I totally understand the. What?
Was that not his closer?
No, Vaush, I totally understand the point you're trying to make, but he did ask you a direct question about whether currently Norway's
and by the way, paternity leave is still fully funded in Norway. Just letting you know.
Yeah,
Andrew,
I'm happy to answer your question.
That question.
The problem here, and he's aware of this, which is why he sounds like a giggling psychopath whenever he makes the bad points.
Here we go.
Is that no, you can never look at the effects of policy by looking at a policy that was passed in 1990 and then going, oh, well, 30 years later, things are down again. What you try to do is check to see if there's an effect that can be correlated, or better even yet, like demonstrated to be causatively associated with the policy in particular. For example, imagine if you were to take a look at like, hey, does Biden's child tax credits lower child poverty? If you go back to the COVID pandemic, right, or the COVID crisis, and you ask, hey, did this policy lower child poverty? The answer is yes, it cut it in half. But now that's not in effect, and other things have happened. So it's like, oh, well, what happened? I thought it fixed child poverty. In reality, the standards that Andrew is setting for analyzing policy would not work and don't apply anywhere.
See, that's why I couldn't be a debate, bro, because if I'm Andrew Wilson, I would agree with that. I think you're right. And I would tell Vaush, there's no way we can prove this. I don't believe you. You don't believe me. We can move on because there's no way for either one of us to really, there's too many variables in place.
These are all fair points, but I still think you should answer his initial question.
He doesn't do that.
He
doesn't know
question?
How. You don't even know what the fucking question is. You're so stupid, dude.
What is the question?
You don't even know the question. You're answering a question. You don't even know what it is.
The question is, currently, is Norway's birth rate going down? Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I think technically it's actually risen in the past couple of years. The last data point was from 2023, where they had birth rates per 1,000 people.
Is it on a downward trend or not, Vaush?
Trend based on what?
Based on the fact that it keeps going down as part of a trend.
Well, over the past 5 years, it's actually gone up. Curious.
But the trend shows it going down. And what did the Norway analysts show?
The trend of the past 5 years is that it's going up.
Well,
curious.
let's take a look and even see if this trend is true.
Alex, this is literally never going to end.
So Vaush is a little bit embarrassed here because Andrew Wilson's right and he doesn't want to concede this point. But I think Vaush can concede that point and say we don't know either way. But what Vaush is being disingenuous about is the total number is going up, but we're talking about a rate. The rate isn't going up fast enough to maintain the population. So you see the number going up, but if the rate continues on the path, there will be a point in the future where you will be declining. That's what Vaush is kind of looking awkward about for. Let me know. Are you familiar with this? Let me tell you Andrew Wilson's position, then we'll go out here with letting him go. Andrew Wilson is coming from a faith-based position. He thinks the government, the culture should promote family values. That means no rainbow stuff for sure. I agree with this. I agree with Andrew Wilson. Let me just tell you now. He says encouraging. How do you do this? It's just, if the government focuses on it, the government during that virus period, that pandemic, they were able to focus on stuff. So if you, at least in America and in the Western world, so if you want to focus on traditional family structures, you could do that too. Encouraging early marriage and larger families. The problem is, Andrew Wilson didn't bring it up on this one, but he has in the past, that when women started going to college more, they used their most fertile years to get indoctrinated and to, even beyond the indoctrination, to not have children. You have pro-natalist policies, tax benefits. So Andrew Wilson does agree with some government spending, tax benefits and subsidies to support large families, tax breaks. That makes sense. I like that. I fully support that. I like the tax breaks better than the subsidies, but either way, I do agree with that. Restricted access to contraception and the ability to unlive fetuses. That's his basically, and then social pressure to make it a norm to have multiple children. Let's finish this off. Let me know, which one do you side with?
I brought up an article that proves every point I had.
No, it doesn't prove anything.
It's 2.5 hours.
You just read about. You just
He
read
doesn't
it.
care about kids. He doesn't care about God.
Stop. We do have to get into closing statements. We're 2.5 hours in. You, Andrew, said you want to keep it to no more than 2 hours. Vaush, you said you want to wrap up at 2.5 hours mark. So both of you guys want to wrap up. I promise you can make all the points you want in your closing statements.
I have to go. It's 2.5 hours in. I thought it'd be 2.
Oh shit. Do you have a minute or two to make a closing statement?
Quick though.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Literally, like, you can Google policies to help fertility rates. Oh, bammo, there's solutions. All of Andrew, the reason why he does like the psychotic laugh and the reason he's chain smoked like 20 cigs throughout the entirety of this conversation is because his only actual like prescription is that he's a fascist, and that's it. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He doesn't care about God. He's not an Orthodox. He has no real beliefs. Like most fascists, he believes that the world is anti-empiricist, that everyone else is just as slimy as he is. In reality, it's just him, and he's alone. He has severe interpersonal problems with others. He clearly can't get along with me, and I'm a very easy guy to like. Like, I don't know what to do when you pull up a book that says this policy works, and he's like, well. So, like, I think that if there's any resounding point to be made from him, it's immense personal unlikability. And for me, it's a set of sensible policies that you can adopt if you care about producing more children.
Okay. Thank you, Vaush.
That's my rational argument.
You want to really quickly plug your channel before you go?
I'm also Vaush.
All right, cool. I appreciate you coming on. I thought this was a really good discussion.
And I have my closer now.
Yeah,
that's the level I want to get to. And I'm also Osiris. And it's also after show carnage. That's all I need to do.
And that Vaush may not stick around for it, but as of 2022, there were a total of 51,480 newborns in Norway. That might sound like a lot, but it actually marks a drastic drop in the fertility rate within the country, and it's on the downward trend. This is according to Norway's own stats, as much as the Gish Gallop goes. But let's go back into this. Vaush was blown out on ethics. He had no argument there. All criticisms directed at me were equally directed at him. He said that I'm not an Orthodox Christian. He has nothing to back that up whatsoever. It's just some declarative statement that he makes up. He's called me a fascist, but when we were trying to go through that, he ran from it as fast as he possibly could, tried to filibuster the time as much as he could. He also, at the start of this, remember, said the birth rate itself is no problem. It's no issue. It's not even anything you got to worry about. By the end of the debate, he's scrambling desperately because his logic led him to notate this one key point. If the immigrant countries also have a below average birth rate, this is Vaush's words, you're not going to be able to migrate them anymore. We have a big problem. He said that himself. So finally, we get to the concession. This is an issue. When I ask him, what is your solution to this? Which I would have been happy to give mine. Instead, he says something mild like, we'll throw some fucking money at it. And hopefully, even though that does a small mitigation to the problem, but does not reverse the trend, we will continue on this evermore, throwing materialism at this, even though it has done absolutely nothing in any of these Western nations to reverse the trend whatsoever. In fact, I would also say Vaush is literally one of the most bad faith opponents I've ever debated with. But I'm actually fine with that. I don't really care that much because his arguments weren't very good. So ultimately, all he had was you're mean and a fascist and hard to get along with. I've gotten along with Vaush fine for a year. He's been on the Crucible multiple times. Never had a bad engagement with him behind the scenes. Total fabrication and bullshit there as well. Not a single problem with the guy behind the scenes. He says I have issues with interpersonal relationships, yet he's come on my show multiple times without any of these interpersonal relationships. What this is just typical over-talkifying, right? The mod allowed way too much of that. That's his show. I can't say anything about that. But my arguments were far better, and he never did make an actual demonstration for why I was wrong about any singular point that I made. And with that, I'll close. And I appreciate very much even the time of Vaush, who's more than welcome to come back on the Crucible and do debates in the future. I take none of this personally and never have with any of the interlocutors that I've engaged with.
Cool. Yeah, I know, Vaush, you got to go. Andrew, do you mind staying on for another 20 minutes?
Of course.
All right, cool. Yeah, Vaush, appreciate you. I thought this was a really, really interesting debate, and I personally enjoyed watching it. I had to step in way more than I usually do. Andrew, you've seen me moderate many times. I never, ever step in this much, but I thought it was appropriate. Hopefully, you guys both thought I did a fair job. I was trying to be as fair as possible.
Alex, you were a dream, and I appreciated your moderation very much. Andrew, I hope you find God.
I hope you do too.
Have a good one.
And Jenny Craig.
Chad, I didn't get that joke. What was the joke?
Okay, we're going back to the night. Okay. But let me know what you think about the birth rates. That is, I mean, this is a tough one sometimes when you get heavyweights in there, it gets kind of ugly. We got the big guys in there. It's not like the lightweights. And looks like they had a good relationship before this, but let's see, they might have fell out. I think this is the most important topic in the Western world. If you're not having enough kids to replace your population, you've got serious foundational structural problems. Andrew Wilson and Vaush at least debated it. Maybe they'll do a follow-up on the Crucible. Who knows? Let me know what you think, though.
Listen to the next episode, then get busy, literally, and help make the next generation happen. This has been After Show Carnage.